Welcome back. 25-year-old federal contractor, Reality Leigh Winner, now stands charged with leaking information regarding a 2016 Russian military intelligence cyber attack to an online news outlet. Winner's family fears she may receive a harsher sentence as the Trump administration looks to make an example of leakers. Ken, is this a reasonable concern for the Winner family?
All right, so I'm so going to try to get through this segment without making any jokes about her name. I really am. Should it be a concern for her family that, are they going to try to make an example out of her? Absolutely. I'm very sure they're probably going to try to make an example out of her. I can't say I disagree with it. I really can't. Here we have someone who was trusted with classified information, and they had a top secret security clearance, signed that document with Uncle Sam that says, I won't leak this information. And she went ahead and she was very brazen in her method of leaking the information. She actually had the guts to go in, print it out from the classified computers, not thinking about the fact that, they probably log who prints what on there. And then she also didn't realize that, a lot of your commercial quality printers, they actually embed on the paper in little tiny yellow dots the printer's serial number and a lot of other information that, all they had to do was just, scan the document and, look for those yellow dots and, okay, well, here's where the leak came from. All right, go check the logs. All right, here's who printed it out. There you go. As someone who, is a federal contractor, I really concern about when someone does this kind of stuff, because it's going to make the federal government pause before they start giving you those clearances. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, at the same time it can delay someone's employment and can delay services in the federal government.
Danielle, you're in the printing business and understand a little bit about how you can track people that do certain printing. What do you think?
Well, I wanted to ask the panel here, because I was reading today that, and I don't know if it was her mother that said it, but that this young lady has two faces. That, on one hand, she's I believe an Air Force veteran working as a contractor for the NSA, and on the other hand, a yoga instructor. Okay, so the thing I want to talk about is, what do you believe her motives were for leaking this kind of information, creasing it up in her purse or whatever she did and printing it off?
I believe it's 100% political motivation. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff about her social media, I mean, she was very against our current administration, and this was absolutely a political move on her part.
But here's the argument regarding social media. For her to get her security clearance, shouldn't they have done more than just a cursory review?
Because that happened.
I mean, that's the first page.
Before this.
Okay, because she had posted that before she took this position.
Yep.
So shouldn't there have been a little bit more in-depth scanning of what this individual is? Yes, she can speak in tongues. I think that was one of the reasons why she was hired in, from being retired from the Air Force. And thank you for your service, but that doesn't give you the right to betray your country.
Is that like Michael Flynn? They didn't give him a good enough review?
Who knows? I mean,
just bringing it up.
How about Edward Snowden, who went in with essentially a thumb drive?
Yeah.
Okay, but we get to this. Is she going to be made an example of? I hope so. I hope she's made a public example of. Is that going to discourage the next person? I don't know. But until we start to take, and regardless of what administration's in, Democrat or Republican, you have to be in it for the betterment of the United States of America if you're going to be in there with security clearance.
Let me ask you all a question. If you know that somebody's doing something totally wrong that can destroy this country and ruin the Constitution, would you leak information, yes or no?
There are avenues within the federal government to release that information.
And Henry is absolutely correct. The correct avenue would be to first go through Congress.
What if you know? Yeah.
And there's also the Whistleblowers Protection Act that you can report anonymously, even pseudo-anonymously, because they're going to eventually find out who it came from. But there's a federal program that allows, if you know of something that's
Right.
going on wrong, that you can report it there, and they will open up a case with the appropriate agency to do the investigation.
And you can also go through the appropriate agency's Inspector General.
So you would go through the Attorney General,
I would go through, no, Inspector General.
Inspector General.
but you would go, let's say you went
I
through
would
the
follow
Attorney
proper
What
channels.
happens if you go through the Attorney General's office? The Attorney General's office, depending what party's in power, is going to control what it goes, where it goes, or if it goes at all. If it goes into one body of Congress that's controlled by either party, and their party controls where it goes.
So you're talking more at the level of Edward Snowden situation, where he actually absconded with the information and released it in a foreign country.
I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb here and say, you know what? Unfortunately, I can do my part to report what I see, and if somebody else does not act upon what I report, it is not my place to decide what should be made public.
You wouldn't do it as
I
a
would
patriot?
not do it.
Not as a patriot?
Not
What
even as a
happens if our
patriot.
patriots...
Because what if that information I don't realize can actually get somebody hurt, can actually get somebody killed? Now that's on my head. That's why I absolutely cannot do it.
I take a different stance. I couldn't imagine myself not reporting something on any level, whether it was national or even, in your work environment, sexual harassment, for example. If I knew something was going on, I wouldn't be able to stand idle while it was continuing.
Now, we all sat here and talked about the school board. We talked about one of the former school board members that was guilty because she didn't tell what she knew that happened 25 years ago when it happened. So she was found guilty of not following regulations on the school board. So if she would have done that, then she would have been okay. And in this
Well, that would have been a quarter century ago.
doesn't matter how many years it
And
is.
that's a
If you
problem.
find out you got a problem, look,
And it wasn't a violation of the law a quarter century ago.
yeah, but it is now.
It is
and
now.
if the same people still involved in it that was then.
But if they're both consenting adults now, then therefore it's not a violation of the law.
Yeah, but there's other things that could be going on. There's nothing more precious than the Constitution of this country. And if we allow it to keep going the way it's going, I thought one political party had dominance over being constitutionalist. But that political party's letting things go because they're
So
involved
you're saying
in
the
it.
Democrats are being
I didn't mention a
anti-constitutionalist?
party.
Okay.
I
You
didn't
said one
mention a
political party, you're looking at me as a Republican.
Well, I have to, you're on.
Oh, okay.
I'm checking the time because we got 11 seconds to go. Okay? So up next, our panel takes a look at Washington County's newest school board member. We're back in 3 minutes.